Okay, I can start the recording now. So we're talking about HTML5. This is where we're going. First thing I'm just going to bring up again is Phoenix Code. And this is pretty much going to be our default IDE. It is free open source. So if you wanted to install this at home, go right ahead. You'll be able to do so. No big deal. This is the default project. So default project, I think, yeah, I think start project, navigate. Here we go. So if I wanted to, let me see. Yeah, I think the best way to go. Thanks for popping up. All right, so let's just let me see. All right. Next thing I need you guys to do is go to your assignment, to the assignments. I don't think I have modules set up. But if you go to Lab 06, the HTML and CSS assignment, get the projector up. There's an assignment.zip. Go grab that. And open the zip and bring, basically you can throw that onto your desktop for right now. I've already downloaded the zip file and unzipped it, so I'm basically going to right click and go open, open folder. That's not what I want. No. Fire. Here we go. Open folder. That's new folder. Hold on. There we go. Open folder. Use the correct one. Again, I'm going to my desktop. Here is the assignment folder. So I've already got the. So in here there is there's a HTML assignment.txt, and it basically says in each file what you need to do. Right now so when we look at HTML5, just check if I don't have other files. I don't. Okay. Zoom, edit, font. Excuse me for right now. I need to jump this up to 24. Let's do 36. There we go. Okay. Okay, when we look at HTML5, it is a collection of 3 specific technologies. All right, and the first one is HTML is CSS cascading Okay. Let's talk about each of these individually for the moment right now. So HTML has been around a very long time. Okay, and so the version of HTML that we're using has elements from the original, from the early days of it. But there's another technology we need to be aware about is XML. and XML is basically an extendable markup language. So basically there are things, so one of the things that you'll see with HTML is that there's a tag. There is and sometimes you will have a closing tag. HTML now supports every tag as a closing tag, but it still supports the days when you had a paragraph and you just use the paragraph tag, or the line break is just using the single line break. We'll talk about those in a moment. So we basically, there was a XHTML format that was, again, this is now 20 years ago. So that was basically, it was the idea we can extend HTML, improve HTML by using the principle of XML. And it improved, but it's not where we, when we talk about HTML5, specifically this version of it, we're talking, it brings that all together and cleans it all up. So extending style sheets, and this is something that was, so when we think about HTML, think about this is page structure and page content. When we talk about CSS, we're talking about the page styling. How things should look. And we'll get over what style sheets, and we'll play with CSS a bit here and there these next 2 weeks, and then it will be more minor. Again, it is if someone, again, there are people out there who basically jump in head first into this. For us, it is, we know enough to do what we sort of want to do. And then again, we let other, again, if you are concerned about doing more web development, doing web, beyond just, programming, but like more web, I would, take a course in web development, take a course in database. That's one of the things you can do, is you can interact with databases and whatnot. So this is course is about giving you an idea how you could build a small game using the tools provided to you in HTML5. And this is before we start looking at frameworks and whatnot. JavaScript essentially is page programming and interactions. We're only looking at the basics of HTML5 this week. So we're only looking at some basic stuff that you can do with tags and whatnot. And also what you can do with some basic CSS. Things to be aware about later on that you will, PHP. This is used, data. Actions with databases and interactions. Interaction with databases. So that you'll use later on. That's in conjunction with like JavaScript. We're not going to look at PHP, but I'm just going to throw out hey, these are other technologies you should be aware about. These are the big bold pieces of interactions. After that, pretty much everything is built on top of these technologies for the most part. Like if you're using a framework, they're going to be using these to set up the framework. For example, if you like using WordPress is all of these together, all these four technologies together, where each page in your so you've got HTML being the page structure, and then the page content is being shoved into a database effectively. So these are things to be aware about. This is technology. Again, HTML has been around a long time. we're using specifically HTML5. This is the standard that we're using. Let's go to... So I'm going to just a new tab here. So let's take a look at Whole World. All right. So the first one right here is # doc type HTML. This is a tag here to indicate that this is an HTML5 document. It just inform, you know, the web browser that this is an HTML. That's all that is. And the next one is the HTML. Basically, is the root element that all other pages. So this extends all the way down. Let me push these out. So basically, this is everything from here to here is this one tag. This is the root of the page, and this brings up the first new piece of nomenclature that we need, and it's referred to as DOM, Document Object Model. So the idea is that as we go through the document, there are different pieces of that document effectively. So think of your page as the document, object model. And so basically there's different objects within that document. And so the first one is that, hey, everything in the HTML, the tag, that's one object. Everything that's in the head is one object. Put in. So this is another object. This is another object. And we keep everything there's an object for everything in for the most part, there should be an object for everything in your HTML page. And so the head right now, I mean, there is the meta character set. I mean, we could take these out for our purposes. But the idea here is that, hey, there is, so your HTML page actually consists of there's like three body portions. What is this? There's a header, there's a body, and I think there's a foot to the page. You rarely see the foot used ever. So I'm going to leave that out. But I'm just going to say that you just remind you that it's there. So for our purposes, head is the header. This is things, metadata information. Again, we had, character set. But basically the big one that you are most concerned with because is like, hey, title. Hello world title page. Then there's the body. So this is what's actually on the web page itself. And right now we have an H1, which is a header 1. And inside there is the hello world. So I'm actually going to grab all this. I'm going to copy this. Let's go back to Phoenix Code. And I'm just going to make a new file. And this will be hello world.html. And you can see right now it made a new HTML file right here. And I'm just going to basically, I'm going to paste that right here because I'm going to grab the meta. So I'm going to throw all this out. And it will give you issues. If there's issues, it'll show it down here. But here is basically my live view. So I have live view active right now. So if you press this button right here on this side, it'll show you a live view of the page. All right. So for the most part, we go back to the open in. this over here so I can read it. I don't need these anymore, so don't save. Okay, so the big thing that I do want to get across right away is that your HTML, like these documents that we're getting, HTML, CSS, and the JavaScript, these are just text files. I mean, I was just working in Notepad. I've copied it into here into this into Phoenix Editor, but it's just text files that we're dealing with. I need to. Okay. So you've been given an image folder here. So let's actually go into that folder at the moment. There you go. There we go. So here it is. So here's the images. And right now I've given you two images right now. One is, the Minecraft cobblestone and the Minecraft dirt, effectively. So one of the things that, again, so there's headers. There is also the paragraph tag. This is a and I'm just going to copy this. So in here, one of the things that we can do is we can be like, oh, that's cool. I mean, one of the things I can be like, hey, I could turn this into /p. And so now I've got two different paragraphs. And so this is one thing to think about in terms of your text is like what are your paragraphs? There's more that we can do here. But that's one of the things that you'll have is the paragraph is one of your structural pieces. You can see that this is all one line of code. It wrapped here in my browser. So things to think about and consider. What you see here in your document is not what you'll see in the HTML page. So. Just trying to see. So we want to add so I'm going to use the paragraphs liberally in this case. I mean, I could just go and be like, so the next is image src images, and this is what's nice about it's going to show me when I'm going to go in dirt, and boom, and then image src cobble. And I can go and basically, hey, I can be like, so one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do height. I'll do so I can put 200 pixels. I can make this 50%. What about 10%? Oh, it wouldn't be. Oh, it's only in pixels. So here it is. Basically, I made a 250 image. So I've made that smaller. Later on, we can control this using CSS as well, just so you know. But right now we're using basically using pixels. We can also set the width, so we can assign the width and height of it. So if we only assign one, so if I go take out the height right now, it will. So if I only assign the width or only assign the height, it will assign the image to just that relative to that percentage. So whatever this was versus. Again, I'm giving you the Cobodone so really huge so that you can use these to resize it. The important one that you should be using is the alt text, which should be Minecraft Dirt. And this is a accessibility standard you should be using. Well, actually, you must be using. So this is alt Minecraft Cobblestone. I'll save this. And is it going to... Let me see. Publish manager. That's cool. You can actually pop out a live preview to one of your browsers. So I'm going to open up this in Chrome. You can see right here, hey, la la la. If I go, it will compress. Should. It's not popping up the alt text. I thought it was going to pop up. It's not. But anyways, I'm going to go back to my live preview here. Again, the idea here is basically, I've got these on the same line effectively. I mean, I could go and basically, this is where I can use the BR, which is the line break. And then before this, I will use HR to put in a horizontal line. You will see these with the slash. HR didn't like that. I know. I think. I didn't like that as well. There we go. Okay. Sometimes you'll see them with a slash, but it doesn't. It's not taking it right now. No big deal. I'm going to put another horizontal line. So I put another paragraph tag right there. I'm going to, so basically I'm going to, this is more text. So you can see that the returns that I've used here don't matter. Like, as far as this is concerned, like it doesn't read this indentation, all that. It's just like it's just lined up like that, effectively in the code. So I'm just so while this is human readable, the page itself it collapses upon itself to something that's not human readable. So I'm gonna put the okay. Let's talk about anchor tags. And so essentially what you have is href, and our purpose is we want to go to our page 2. Now you could go somewhere else. You could go, you can put in HTML. So it's a URL. So for our purposes, page 2 refers to another document in the same folder. So use that as you see fit. We will close the tag. Again, it gave me the end of the tag, because in here this is essentially the clickable area. So for our purposes, this is go to page 2. And you can see over here, we have now that, it's a clickable link. If I go over there, I think page 2 is empty right now. Yeah, it's empty. So this is H1. Welcome to page 2. And then I'm going to do a horizontal line. And then I will, I'll use the paragraph tag. And then I'll do another anchor tag, href. In our case is index. So the main page, so when you go to a folder on the web, it's going to look for the index.html. That's just the common convention is that you will have the index page as the page, and it's what the browser is going to look for in terms for that folder. So in this case, we're making an anchor link back to our index page, back to home page. It's everything. Click on back to home page. There we go. Page 2. Why is it not going back correctly? Oh, because I'm using Hello World. I'm not actually doing. So everything that I've done here, I've done in this Hello World file, and not actually done anything. Let me just copy this. Grab. Throw these all out. There we go. All right. So in your assignment, this will be index page, and we'll talk about this linking right now. This will come more. This is how we link style sheets together. So right now we're saying this page uses this style sheet. Your page can have multiple style sheets. Now what happens is that the order of style sheets matter. So if you apply style sheet and then there's a change to the style, like this next second one applies something to a same element, it will overwrite the data from the first style sheet. So just be mindful of that. But that's why it's called cascading style sheets, because you can break it up into multiple smaller pieces if you see fit. Yeah, there's tons and tons of different tags. I think one. Let me just make sure this. So there is a tag that you should be aware about, and it is exclamation dash dash, and then there's a dash dash ending tag. And I'll put this right here. So it's showing you that this is a comment. Comments are not displayed in the browser. So this is, again, comments for you as you're working with other people. One thing that you should be aware about if you're writing, you want something that has like a code reference. Let's take right here. This is and then I'm just going to put a BR on the end to put that. So you can see if you can see, let me pop it out so you can see. So this is text in code looking format. So I think one of the things I have you doing at some point, I'm having you set up something that has that yeah, here we go. Give you an idea text span debug. So I give you a so one way you can set code to look that way is to set that code element. Right now. So if we want something, so we have got the paragraph that's going to break something. Let's go back to our code just one moment. I'm just trying to. One of the things that I can do here is within, like, here's a so here's more text. I can also put a span in. You can see right now, this is, bring back my, close this, there we go. So you can, again, here is some more text, space in there. This is other text. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on a BR. And what I can now do is I can go in and I can do ID equals Unity code block. So now I've given this an ID. So IDs are unique. So you're not. This is something I am labeling this particular span. I'm labeling this particular paragraph. This will be important later on because you will do a tic-tac-toe board, and like each sphere in that tic-tac-toe board, it's going to have a button. Those buttons are all going to be ordered. You'll have literally three. One way to do it is you'll have a button that represents the empty space, an image that is the X, image that is the O. They're all in the same square. I mean, essentially, you'll have a function that where you can go in, basically set what item are you setting and what show what square are you looking at, and then what square you're looking at, and then what you can hide and show things. That's actually one of the things that we can do. Actually, we can go and do hidden and and now that's a hidden element. So it's not being drawn, essentially. We can go. We can do. So you could use this is something that you could set, and in code you can set this true or false. Take these all back because we do want to show. So this is an element that you can use to your advantage. You can start the board basically with like all the images are hidden and the buttons are shown. So. So the thing that I want to show here is the other one is I'm gonna make another span. Someone give me a movie quote for can I get a movie quote, someone? I'm blanking on one, so please someone give me a movie quote. Gentlemen? Anyone, please?
I can't think of anything now that you're asking.
Game quote, movie quote, anything at the moment? There we go. There you go, Scarface. Hello, my old friend. This spam I can do. I'm going to do a class. So basically, if you've got several things that are like related that do something similar, in this case, it's going to be class equals movie quote. I'll just do quote. So later on, when I get, so the idea thing is, so I can select these classes, I can select these IDs, and I can do something with them in the CSS. There is another element that you should be aware about. It's the division. I'm going to save this. I'm going to jump back over to page 2 right now. Let's move this up. There we go. Okay, let's talk about tables. So you can define a table by using the table, and then basically you end the table / table. There are table rows and there is table elements, and so each table row, so tr, this is a table row, and then we'll do another tr, and in here we're going to do th, and I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to grab these and I'll copy these into 3, 4. So you can see here that here is the items as being added. And it's created a someone. It's not. It's. I bet you if I show this in. Why is it? I have something in the style sheet? No, I don't. Okay. So I'm not sure why it's not showing it with. Oh, it's not showing it without the border, which is odd. Table tr. I'm not sure why it's not showing that. Normally it will show this with a border around. It's not doing it at the moment. I'm a little odd why. maybe it's. So there's tables. Be mindful with tables. Like people will have tried using tables to organize their pages. That's not how you really want to build your page today. That's like 25 plus years old tactics that even then was questionable. Yeah. 90s internet versus today's internet are vastly different things. Vastly, like the internet today is vastly much more sophisticated. So. Um, oh, I'm sorry. The th is a header cell. My apologies. These are data cells. So if I wanted tr table row td th why is this acting weird? There we go. Needed to refresh the live update. So here is column 1, column 2 with the items in here. So, this will, it will expand, for the items within it. Let's try to see. I'm just going through the R. So we got ideation classes, links. Set height to 64. Oh, the other thing that you might see is a division. And I'm going to wrap the table in this division right here, just for the sake of argument. And I can be like, division B, like something like, class RGBG table. So put a line here. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll use a horizontal line. Just to okay. Ordered list, unordered list. So let's start with ordered list. Items in the in a list basically are li. 1 li. Actually, I'm just going to grab this. And this order list is going to be ID equals power of 2. Now note that this is like number. So I've got 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 4. That actually should be. This is ordered with one order. So let's actually, if I go to unordered list, this will be just dots. So that's actually probably what we wanted. So let me give you another one. So UL basically is going to give you dots. Let me just grab this. I'm going to put this. It's yelling about the power of 2 having A, B. So here you go. Here's A, B, C, D. This is the order list. I'll put that up front. And here's the unordered list. So things you should know about and you should be using. So one of the things is that, where's the division? Yeah, here's the division. Actually, let me get rid of division here. Is not what I want. So the assignment, it's asking to use an unordered list. So it wants you to create, the assignment actually wants to make a division, and inside create an unordered list powers to 2. This is the division element assigned with the RPG table. Start 1, go up to 128. So let's go to 64, 128. So this would be 16, 32, 64, 128. So this is we're gonna do a and it wants you basically to alternate. So this is, they're going to set up a class. And I'm just going to go in. Might be easier to go up. So alternate these between B, A, and B. So basically, we're again setting up this table, basically setting up so we can stylize each line individually effectively. Looking at, let's go to the welcome page here. Use the H3 element, just so, because I've asked you to use something with the H3 element. Okay, I'm just making sure we get everything we need so I can go move on. Okay. So I've shown you, like, hey, here's basic HTML for example. Let's talk about style sheets. So let's go in. One of the things you might for example, we can set our background to blue, or I mean, there's a whole. What's nice is there's all different colors here. You can set the color background to black, which is not good. A bisque. Blanche almond. There's also of them. Brown, barleywood. I'm gonna go. Let's go look at the whites. So there's wheat, white smoke, snow. So have fun. I'm gonna go. Let's go with wheat, just for the sake of argument, having something different here. So that will set the. This is the background color. Let's see. I'm going to use the H3 tag. So note that the brace is on the same line. That's a standard, unfortunately. I'm going to go grab color, white, and hexalign. So it's made this white, which is not readable. Let's do color, do red. And again, here is text align center. So center of the object that we're talking about. In this case, the header tag is basically the whole line is what we're talking about. So as I make this window bigger, you can see that it's basically moving along. It's basically staying in the center of the screen. So. So we're dealing with specific elements as a wholesale. Okay, selectors. You see, so this is, so you will see that the pound sign is for IDs. So let me look at page 2 at the moment. What was the any IDs? Did I set an ID? I got, okay, so here is powers of 2. I got it. Let's go back to the index page. Okay, yeah. So here is Unity code block. So basically, go back to style CSS hashtag Unity code block. All right. So we want to set the font. So this is going to be font family. And we want to do the there we go, mono space. And you can now see that, let's go back to, here's Hello World, where is, okay, you can see this is the other text. So this is, that transform dot three dot forward. So here you go. So there is. So if you wanted to like have again, here's a span. If I wanted again a piece of code and I want to style it like looking at that code, the other way we can do is set the font style. Again, this is I'm using the ID here. So font family is basically what font am I using? What generic fonts am I using? Let's keep going on. I did not put a BR here. There we go. So there's an actual code block, and there's also we can use set the font style. Let's see what else. The class quote. So for a class, you'll see and we'll do font. So basically here is Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif. So basically it will default to Arial. If Arial's not there, it'll use Helvetica. If it's not, it'll use the next best sans serif font. We can do font, style, italics, font size, and this is where you can use percentage, 75%. Font. I did not terminate it. Blanking. Text color. Oh, I guess I can just use color. So let me just bounce this into. Say hello to my little friend. You go. So here's 50% size of the text. So you can see we can adjust things. In fact, I'm going to make this red just to make it stand out. You can set borders up. And I definitely one of the things that I want you to like, one of the resources is W3 Schools. Great definition about what are all the different elements for HTML, different for CSS. And like, for example, there are border styles. So we can go and basically do border style. Solid. Here we go. You can go in. You can do, there's a lot more with you can do with. Is it dash? Is it width? So we can do. width. It can be thin, thick, medium, and then we can do 10 pixels, set it to be 3 pixels. So 1 pixel. So there's things to play with. So you can set the style. We can be, this is solid. We can make it dotted. So this is go again. There's a lot more here than we're talking about. So go and play with things. Yeah, I mean, these are the big pieces that you're going to be playing with throughout this assignment. Definitely, go look at, I'll show you right now. I mean, I've got the border page up right here right now. Nothing wrong. Like here is an example, P1, P2, P3, border style solid. Maybe make this one dash. You can make the width. You can do the width by, right now I've got the width 1 pixel. That's all the way around. You can do top and bottom. Maybe close this for one moment. Make this solid. And then 2 pixels on the side. I'll make this 5 pixels just so you can see that better. So this assignment is basically a shakedown test. Can you write some HTML? Can you write some CSS? Is it going to be good? No. But can you do the basics? That's what we're asking about right now. Any questions about the assignment? I know I've done a Twitter force of how to write CSS and HTML. Definitely use Phoenix Code to your advantage. It'll make your life easier. This editor is content based on the file that you're working with. So like here, I'm in a CSS file. It knows to order this like a CSS file. If I was in a JavaScript file, it knows to order it like a code file. I think it will take new file. I think it will do stuff.js. So it knows a JS file here. I think we'll also do PHP. Yeah, so it will actually do stuff with PHP as well. So it's a nice, clean, lightweight. So where Visual Studio is a few G on your drive, this is like 100 megabytes or 200 megabytes total. But it's lightweight. It does its job. Doesn't do any, and it does its job well. It's not trying to be everything with like Microsoft. It doesn't have AI built into it. Hooray! It has good IntelliSense. Now IntelliSense is a code tool, but it's not an AI like, hey, did you mean to write this line of code? That Visual Studio was bugging you with. So you will see me be working in Visual Studio. You'll see me in Phoenix Code for the rest of this class as we write our stuff, because it just does its job. It's nice, it's clean, it's not crazy. You've got a live preview. If I go click on this index, here is a live preview, and I can actually go over here. I mean, this was my This is my browser page. I can go, I can, here you go. There's if I hit F12, I can bring up the inspector, and where is the console? Boom. So there's a console window here, which we will use to our advantage with JavaScript. We'll put things in the console window. So this will be a lot of our layout as we go further. Not connected. That's interesting. Okay. Any questions for me? Anything that you'd like to do, like me try? Not really. Any questions?
So do we just have to
follow the instructions? There's an assignment.txt. Follow the instructions in there. What to do?
do all that?
Yeah, just do all that pretty much. And I've done a lot of it with you already. It's just I haven't done all of it. So I've given you like, hey, here's how you select a class. Here's how you select an ID. Here's how you select an element if you wanted to do a whole element. And it's more playing around like, hey, how do I do this? Again, look up, W3 Schools will be your guide of your question, how do I use this particular element or this particular, like I want to play with fonts and whatnot, how do I do that? This is basic HTML5. All right, let's just give you. As we move on, you'll use. Eventually, you'll start using. If you keep going with HTML5, you'll use frameworks to build your own frameworks. I know someone who built his own frameworks because he didn't want to use other people's code effectively.
Is Phoenix Code supposed to be already installed?
Yes, you're gonna go to the Windows key and type Phoenix Code because it installed in a weird way and the text didn't want to go and put it on the so it'll show up as Phoenix Code PHE, and then you'll want to like add that to the taskbar. Yeah, the text didn't. It installed in a way, and the text didn't put it on the taskbar, so or on the desktop.
You don't think this one has?
Really? There it is. There's a zip file for assignment number. This assignment, it's literally called assignment. Go download that because it has basically all the files you need, and the description of what you need to do is in there. Yep. So have you on? So go up and grab. So close, minimize everything but this one window. Yeah, now grab that and grab that. because you have to be able, you need it unzipped so you can do the work. And then in Phoenix Code, just open that file. Good to go. All right. I'm gonna stop the recording here.